get taken away. Do like that. I think that makes a lot of sense with how DPLUS have been playing. Is it a Nidalee B1 for HANWHA? That's what I'm wondering with how deep we're getting into the Fearless draft, plus the fact that it is a flex pick would make a lot of sense to me, Valdez.
Yeah, I think that's the way you got to look at it. You know, with a lot of stuff taken out of the pool, you want flex picks, you want something that is still high tier that gets left through on the bans already. We do see that one of the bans has changed, but on the red side here that TK has enjoyed for now the third game in a row, they're still going to ban the same stuff as Rumble gets banned here. So Kalista or Poppy are the two that were always banned in the games prior, and one of them is going to get through, and maybe two if you leave them both open.
Maybe you leave open both, and then you just pick the opposite. Obviously, I think you're going to feel better about picking the Poppy into Kalista than the other way around. Poppy's going to remain open. Poppy and Nidalee, and yet there it is. I am not surprised. The win rate is absolutely ludicrous, and that is for a very good reason. There are only a few teams that pick Nidalee. They either pick a jungle, and then your jungler is like Canyon or Cuz or Peanut. So then you win.
16 and 3.
Or you end up picking her in top lane as a counter pick, in which case she also will stomp. Shiu, going to prioritize the Yorick here, is on a carry, but it does make me wonder, why are we going red side to blind pick our top lane? I do not know this, and I don't know if we will get an answer anytime soon, Valdez.
Well, it's probably into the Nidalee, right?
Must be my guess, yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
we'll
are you really excited about that?
No.
As a matchup?
I mean, not even going to take away the Poppy. They're just going to go for Kindred.
They must have something planned. I don't know what yet.
I mean, sure.
Like Galio? Is that what we're looking towards? HANWHA Live still have so many ways they can take this draft.
They want to get a really solid 4-stack, probably, and let the Yorick split push. And Kindred's very good at absorbing pressure, obviously, if you get hard engaged on. But you see that HANWHA Life, they're not even looking at hard engaged just yet. They have the split push of the Nidalee and now Corki in the mid lane.
Ooh, the Corki pick.
Jace was played.
Yeah, that's not real. Corki mid does fill me with confidence. That's not a champion. Neither is Kassan. What is happening?
Well, it's the old Corki Nidalee mid jungle.
Corki Nidalee Cassante. There have been patches. If you go back a year ago, that's top tier. Okay, that is crazy good. You don't mind getting lane swapped into. Corki's gonna stomp lane. But we're way deeper into the season. These things don't really hold true anymore. We'll see as the Alistar still gets picked here for Beryl. Finally going to deny. Now you ban Poppy. That's you have Kindred and Alistar. That's
Poppy Silas.
Poppy Silas? Yeah.
Although, no, I mean the Silas, where would it go?
So,
I mean, it could be like support.
It could be mid, or 80 carry Corki, right?
Yeah, that too.
80 carry Corki, and then... Okay, that's not Poppy. Maybe we leave... I think Poppy into Kindred as well. Like, both her ultimate and the fact that she can't easily hop away. So maybe we leave open Silas. Because I do think this is, in fact, a Corki mid. But there is still flex potential, which is why you always have to be a little bit careful.
And the Poppy's the one that requires a lot less flexing to fit in. You can just play it support. Obviously, it's very good into Alistar.
Yeah, the Poppy for me
is
a no-brainer. And DK have also been prioritizing that as a ban, right? So I would be shocked if they don't take it away here.
I'm glad we're all on the same page.
DK are clearly... I don't know what the Hail Mary is, but like there's something that ideally is going to tie this all together. We just don't really know what it is yet.
Maybe Showmaker's playing Zed into Corki, you know?
Well,
I'm trying to think outside the box.
I do think the thing I do like about the Corki is that you can't play Galio into it, which if you're picking the Kindred, like Galio kind of flows naturally from that. So Kalista gone, MF gone, Ashe gone. Kaisai's still open. Xayah actually made it through the trough this time around. I don't think you're super excited to play Xayah into Nidalee Corki, but it is one of the few AD carries that's open. And it also would deny a possible flex as... so this theoretically could still be Victor bot. I know that's aiming, so I'm not expecting it, but... Or, okay, we haven't talked about this yet. But do we have to consider like AD carry Kindred? I'm like, at this point, I'm kind of grasping at straws, but...
Because there had to have been a reason they picked red side, right? If they just pick a normal AD carry here, it's like, well...
Well, maybe it is just a Kindred.
What was the idea?
So they're going to... Are you going to like... So they're going to go Zyrakan.
Yeah.
Which you knew. And then you just go, what, Jinx? You know, Jinx? I'm thinking about it. I don't hate it.
So that would be a reason why you want the Kindred.
So Ziggs, you have a lot of AD damage.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. Also, you can...
And you're playing into Xayah, so...
Xayah, yeah.
Smolder?
Notoriously hates playing into the Ziggs. Jinx to me makes a lot of sense. I think the issue I do have with the Ziggs is that I think itemization becomes very easy. And this is a great matchup into Xayah. All right, you're actually able to generate a good amount of early prio. Feeling too hot.
Not the most finesse.
Not the most finesse.
And when they try to go for finesse, it kind of falls all apart. This draft here, it looks more like a Gen G draft, you know, with the Keen on the Cassante, you got the Chovy on the Corki, but it's HANWHA Life Esports, and that's what's going to happen here in this game number 3. DPLUS get a very interesting draft, and we're ready to hop on the Rift.
미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
And here we go, game number 3. Match 77. Near the end of week 8. And then we'll have week 9. And then week 10, which is where Road to MSI begins.
I'm like, yeah, wait, regular season Road 10? What?
And then week 11.
Which is more Road to MSI.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of it, right?
Then we're done.
Yeah. Then we have like, what, a week break?
Then we go to MSI.
And we go to MSI. Which will be Gen G and one more team.
I'm on board with you.
Right?
If Gen G don't make it to MSI, that is just crazy.
Would have to be a generational collapse, but we're in the LCK, so it's just not happening.
Yeah. Who knows what happens at MSI?
Yeah, that's
a totally different discussion.
Yeah, no, we're not. That's way too far. We don't know the patch. We don't know the form. I'm with you on that one. But getting to MSI.
Yeah.
Now T1 versus HANWHA. That's an interesting conversation.
To me, I mean, T1 look like they're a bit more consistent nowadays. I feel like they've really fixed it. They look entirely different from what they looked like at the beginning of the season, which a lot of teams have. Some other teams have gone the opposite direction, unfortunately. But for T1 and teams like KT, you know, they've totally turned around their seasons so far, and that's been a very good look for them. HANWHA Life, you know, they've been at the top for, you know, number 2 for the entirety of the LCK, right behind Gen G, ever since they lost in week 1.
Yeah.
But definitely faltering a little bit. They're still strong.
It's still within range where you can get into the first best of 5 and they're like giga locked in and you're like, okay, we kind of knew this was going to happen. But it's also getting to the point where, say that we get in and like Peanut and in some games Delight and some games Zeus just don't end up having a great Road to MSI. We could also be like, okay, the signs were there. It's just hard to know in advance what you're going to get.
Yeah. And if they lose to T1, I don't think it's that surprising.
Well, it also doesn't have to be, yeah, because it's T1, right? The core of the team is obviously very crazy as... Yeah, Cassante has not been seen for a while for a reason. Now, a lot of these names are obviously going to be from teams that Dudu and Claire have been struggling a lot. Even Shiu, depending on when that Cassante was picked, right? Could have been a rough one for DK, but... We'll see. I do trust Zeus. Don't know about the situation in this specific instance.
Yeah. I mean, it does feel like Yorick... a lot of us not huge fans of him, especially because a lot of teams and top laners are not playing him as well as Doran did the other day, and struggling to really get the value that you would want out of the Yorick in a lot of our games at the LCK, just because it feels like a lot of our teams are just so set on grouping and fighting team fights. So I feel like our teams have had a lot of time to try to figure out answers into Yorick because he has become a meta mainstay. And perhaps Cassante is one that Zeus has found he is liked recently. I think on paper...
On paper, I don't see it.
I don't see it, but...
It might also have been a... So this is also... Because the sign obviously was a consideration for team comp, right? So I was kind of being facetious about it, but that could also just see this be HANWHA Live legitimately just trying to run out test composition so they have more flexibility later on in drafts. As yeah, the Kindred Victor gank setup onto Corki is not the best. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that that gank didn't work out. They do spot Peanut, so they know he's on the top side of the map, which means that Shiu knows that he has a specific timer. Lucid also won the flip for his first scuttle, so he did pick up his early mark, which is always going to feel great.
Yeah. Zeka taking very aggressive trades. Showmaker's doing a good job of avoiding a lot of the damage. No Valkyrie damage went on to him. And now Zeus going to be stuck here in the Ghoulie wall. And he's getting pretty low. She was getting low on mana, but the Yorick, for now, is still very much enjoying this lane. Ahead 10 CS. Wave is pushing in, but still, she having a fun time.
Level up timer not anywhere near for Zeus either, so Shiu still has a lot of time to just kind of enjoy himself. Really wants that proc. We'll get the demolish, and that might be a plate going to him as well. And Zeus, I don't think hits 6 off of this wave. Gonna be close, but doesn't look... Oh, there you go. Does hit it, so... Now Shiu needs to be a bit more respectful. Really wants the back because, as you mentioned, he's completely out of mana. As Barrel did walk into the river for a little bit. I'm wondering if he was also shadowing towards mid, because he was actually pretty substantially behind in XP. Does now hit 4 though.
Yeah. Everybody just farming it out, especially our junglers. Peanut a little bit faster on the clear. He's going to get started on this dragon. Doesn't look like Lucid had his sights set on that at all.
Now with the bot lane the way it is, which is somewhat surprising. I do think that the early level of Alistar really makes it tough, but Jinx obviously does have a range advantage over the Xayah. But we saw the early trades went pretty well for 5 in the life, so looks like they are not going to be too bothered. And the early leads for HANWHA, slow and steady being built out here.
Yeah. First Drake Infernal feels pretty good for this comp. Got an Ocean Drake next. Zeka engaged Corki. Jumps straight into the Chaos Storm. But still a pretty good trade. And he's got a refillable, whereas Showmaker does not, so feels like
yeah,
he'll be
that's the second mark
in a
for
good
Lucid.
spot.
Just gets these. It's very low effort.
This top lane, we always just come up here and we're like, is anything happening?
Nope.
No. It is
Shiu.
Cassante versus Yorick.
Shiu did buy Cole, so he's really chilling. Yeah, I'm going to chalk it up to just picking the Cassante for just for comp, right? Just have a good front line. You do have Rakan, but Rakan is in the tank. Mainly just a tool for engaging.
Yeah.
You do need some sort of front line when you want to try and play into the DK comp. Because otherwise, if anyone gets shredded, your fights go from, like, I know it's not really a reset comp, but when you think about it, between the Showmaker ult and aiming being Jinx, it kind of is.
Yeah. If DK start to win fights and they get even one kill,
it goes very quickly.
I don't think that HANWHA Life can win from there, to be honest, unless like aiming is really low or Showmaker's really low, and you know you trade 1 for 1 and then HANWHA Life start to win the fight or something like that. Because Xayah, I mean, should not be dying. There's not so much threat onto the Xayah really, and so you can play pretty far forward and have your ult just to bail you out. So now we are going to have DK starting up the grubs, and with all this pressure in the top lane, I think they can just do it. Peanut is here. Just going to say hello. Zeka making his way over.
Roaming over as well. Peanut did get that one.
Yeah.
We do want to continue is the big question. Doesn't look like it.
Might available for
mine,
Lucid,
so
yeah.
he's never... Should never lose that, especially not with the execute on E. And she was just like, yeah, this is nice. No one is visiting my lane. I'm just living my best life.
It does feel very comfy when you're playing a Yorick and there's like no pressure from anywhere outside of your lane and you're just locked in. You know what your game is going to look like from this minute until the end of the game, or what it should look like, which is you pushing the turrets and getting the structures and trying to win that way.
Zeus hasn't dazed yet, by the way. I didn't notice earlier, but he has been sitting on... Oh, does he get the back cancel?
Nope.
Close. I mean, he would never die, right? But like the back cancel is quite nice.
Oh, look at this. Little spawn of the Scuttle Crab. Lucid's right here, gonna pick up a third. Just like that.
It's always so exciting as Kindred when you just get these heists and you're like, oh, are they gonna let me get away with it? Oh.
At what cost?
Well, the cannon, but that wasn't really, there was no...
No, it's all related.
It's all connected.
Yeah, just like curses are real.
All right. Yeah, aiming can't really do anything against Zeus at this point, because I want you to look at Zeus's items and then look at aimings. We're talking third item, probably.
Don't you think it would be uncomfortable to have a chain vest and a bramble vest?
Well, the bramble vest does look like it goes on top of the chain vest, right? Like if you just look at the
it's got
shape.
arms.
Yeah, so you put on the chain vest. Actually, doesn't have to be heavy, depending on the material used. So
it's like an undershirt, kind of.
Yeah.
And then you've got like the overshirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. Yeah, it kind of fits then.
It works.
It would be pretty warm in this weather, I think.
Phonetically consistent. Yeah, it's again, one of those things, right? If you wear it directly onto your skin, then you get sweaty. Ooh, it sounds great.
How are you enjoying Korean summer so far?
We all know Korean summer is the worst, so let's not have this conversation. I don't like being negative, and I can only be negative about Korean summer. As a 141 armor, I have been told, how much he is sitting on. So he's not taking damage anytime soon.
For me, Korean summer is basically the same as New York summer. I know you didn't want to talk about it, but it's basically the same. So I'm just like, yeah, this is what it is.
This is the worst.
This is what happens. It's very humid. It's very hot.
Yeah.
But
I do like rainy season. We've seen this before. Why is Saya playing against Yorick? How have I? This happened yesterday.
It did, yeah.
How is it happening?
Maybe Viper didn't see those games. Yeah, he is going to get the root though. Little baiterino perhaps. Doesn't quite pay off though as Viper nearly dies, but he gets the. Oh, we got a rocket flying through. Viper.
Yeah,
oh, he's gonna run into it. Oh, he was fine. Then he started running into it, and now he has to flash.
That's so big. That also denies them a ton of tempo. I think the Dragon's going to go over to DK as well. Aiming true to his namesake.
Just a mark here, too. Lucid's just getting free marks this game. 4 marks for free?
Can they get it? He just smote.
Well, Peanuts.
But they do still have control of the area. Like, this is worth fighting for DK.
Yeah. I think they can wait for the cooldown.
Smite.
No.
Yeah, they're going to get it.
4 marks already!
For free.
4 Pioshix.
For free.
For free.
For free!
I mean, there's been no action in this game. It's 0 to 0.
Yeah,
12 minutes.
DK's kind of chilling.
They have Kindred and Jinx.
And Victor!
And Victor.
It's not like there aren't parts of HANWHA that scale well, right? Like, obviously, Saya is an absolute late-game menace. But I need to see some of the winning fights for HANWHA, right? Because we're not doing great on the objectives. Now, we did get the chem tech, which I think for both sides this time is a lot better. Yorick with extra healing is really funny. Because his healing is already scaling with his own missing health.
Yeah.
On HANWHA's side, I guess it's for Nidalee, it's nice. And there's a decent amount of shielding with the Cassante, so that's something, but...
So, Chronicler, what are Dutch summers like? Are they very rainy?
No, well, not really. They're just kind of... They're not that hot, and they can be rainy. They're not notorious,
like,
so...
How hot does it get?
Well, I don't know in Freedom units, but
well,
like...
I don't speak Freedom units
No,
anymore.
that's right, you're Korean.
Yeah.
Like 20, like between 20 and maybe 30 degrees.
So 30 maximum on like the hottest day.
Well, that was when I was there. We're 5 years deeper.
You mean it's getting hotter?
Yes. I feel like that's a whole nother conversation, but I have been told that does, in fact, humidity isn't really a thing because the Netherlands is next
Isn't
to
it
very
always?
windy. No, it's not
there?
really that humid.
Doesn't it rain a lot?
It does, but like compared to Korea, where the humidity really, it never leaves, right?
Yeah, it's like a wet blanket.
Yeah, that doesn't really happen in the Netherlands.
Oh, 5th mark. Just as easy as that.
Okay.
In the face of HANWHA Esports.
I know this isn't something we can easily know, but what would be the highest amount of marks a Kindred has ever gotten in a game before a kill has? Like, are we gonna?
We need those numbers.
Are we gonna? What? Like, obviously, you can get more stacks in a Kindred game if you're just chain fighting and you're getting the marks from killing people. But I'm actually wondering, like, we're up to 5 stacks with no first blood.
Yeah. We do need those numbers. Remember yesterday, Ox and I were talking about how we need all the numbers for everything. That's one of the numbers I'm actually curious about.
What is the highest number of marks that has ever been gotten by a Kindred without there being a first blood? Because we're now getting to the point where he's going to have to start, like, yoinking camps.
Yeah.
We already saw was a lot of damage.
Yeah, Peanut does build AP on jungle Nidalee. Ghoulie wall. Nidalee doesn't care about that. And they just push a little bit, and then they back a little bit.
This specific build really, I do think lost a lot of impact, though. There's a reason why I think we've still seen Azeres in particular go Leandries, but go it later. Because the early AP on your first item finish, I actually think matters a lot. I think once you get deeper into the game, like 10 AP is not going to be a difference maker. This is going to be the turret going over. And Corki is still in a really good spot. Showmaker not really able to keep up with Zeka when it comes to the CS, but missing a lot of them. They are going to look for Herald. And I would say that DK do have an advantage if the game just goes like this on for another 10 minutes, right? The Cole cash out is going to come. We're going to have Showmaker transform his... and there you go. Seraph's transform. They get a free objective as well. And the only read I can make with this is that HANWHA feel like their scaling is equal. Because otherwise, I don't think they would play like this.
I mean, they have Corki Zaya.
Well, again,
it's definitely...
It's not bad. Even Nidalee, I think, scales a lot better than she used to.
Yeah. Sante, I feel like as a tank, he used to scale very well. I feel like nowadays it's like, I don't know. If this goes really late game, I think he's just going to get shredded by the Jinx, mainly.
Yeah, or the Yorick inside.
Well, yeah, that's
the Kindred. Or once Showmaker gets
or the Victor.
Yeah, there's just a lot of damage.
Not the Alistar, though.
That is
He's okay against the Alistar. Okay.
I'm glad we got that. That is great.
It looks like he's like riding a chariot of cats.
That's a cool move.
Like they're the horses.
I respect it.
Got the maiden
They
right
are
behind.
kind of nightmare fuel. The cats.
No, they're really cute.
No, because they're like hunched over.
Yeah. They're just big boy cats.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not...
From the top angle, it looks kind of like creepy, but from the front angle, I think it actually looks pretty cute.
I guess. I'm not really with it as a...
Are we gonna fight?
Hits.
Are we actually going
Only
to
one
fight?
item spikes. I think HANWHA Life are feeling pretty good about this. Jinx, not that scary just yet.
I mean, you gotta press some buttons. You gotta press some buttons. You gotta force Kindred ults. You gotta do something. But it is very difficult to engage into this comp against Kindred and Alistar. As now we got in the front line, Shu in a bit of trouble, but he is Yorick. The redemption comes out. And that is going to get them healed up quite a bit, but Lucid's still here. Beryl running out of his ult. He's got to back away. He goes back in and just dies first blood at 17 minutes and 47 seconds. And Lucid is sticking around, trying to get the smite here. We got the ult down. Oh, man, the feathers did way too much. But here comes Showmaker. Gets a couple of kills, and Peanut can't do anything against this Victor as the shield comes in. And, oh, man, the spear's going to miss. Maybe if it hits, he can do something. Showmaker, desperate for that, does nearly 6,000 damage in the fight.
Woo! What a fight there, Valdez! Nailbiter, DK get the dragon and win the fight, but Boy, was it messy. Victor is going to be so accelerated, though. 3 kills for Showmaker as we take another look. So the cancelled engage from Barrel there, very nicely done. Gets Viper's ultimate out immediately. Then Shiu gets taken low. Barrel pulls a barrel, and in hindsight, I guess it all worked, but really shouldn't have gotten away with that. So takes a lot of damage, then walks back in for seemingly no reason. But then here, they go all in on Kindred! That's the, you're in, that's, if the fish, you know, you're a bunch of fish, and you're like, what if we just jumped into the barrel? Right, there's a Jinx outside the pit!
Yeah.
Just waiting there for you to get low so she can start resetting.
Maybe that's what Barrel meant, you know? His name kind of sounds like Barrel. He's like, if I die, I will be reborn as the barrel.
We are helping.
That all the fish jump
We
into.
are keeping these lies intact. We can't, like, that was just bad. You could just wait and then wait out your cooldowns and then later give your life for something useful.
I see you, Barrel. That was a very good angle. Now that I've seen the lines, I understand now.
Oh.
It all makes sense now. It is hard to make sense of it sometimes, though. Lucid coming in here, and he's got Showmaker with him. That is a ton of damage on a Peanut.
Yeah, oh, he has Lichbane. There's a TP behind them.
It's Corky.
That's Corky.
I mean, Zeka is level 13, but he's, yeah, flanking Corky. Now on the front line, though, Showmaker, he's just being bullied. He gets burst down, and Barrel's like, I'll go with you too, why not? Maiden is here. Shiu does not want to split push, as he has been here for all of the fights.
Is that Otacon? Might just be that.
Yes.
Showmaker went really deep trying to kill Peanut there. It doesn't work. And the price that is going to have to be paid here by DK is huge. A mid-game disaster for them. That's going to be Otacon going over here for sure.
Are we surprised?
Not really. I kind of was waiting for it. As we take a look, so this all comes at the back of Showmaker going way too deep, and then the rest of the team is caught out of position. And they kind of have to try and salvage this. The fact that Shiu TP's in as well as Yorick is just not it. Just keep pushing. The play is lost. It's fine. It's rough, but at least you would have gotten that topside turret. Now you still get it, but it takes a lot longer. And with that Otacon, HANWHA Live still showcasing if Showmaker is out of position like that and he gets taken down, a lot of the damage, 40k not there. As yeah, they did get it.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, you're waiting for like
yeah, the rocket? I'm like, what?
Rocket.
You used it already.
Remember that one patch where they're like, I think it took away like a damage limit and then Jinx was just stealing objectives every single game.
Yep.
And then a patch later we're like, okay, that was a bad idea. We shouldn't have done that. That was funny.
As long as we realize it fast, you know.
Yeah, true.
Doesn't stick around too long. I mean, Showmaker is still very fed.
He's still a fed Victor. Like,
he's still behind on gold, though. He's down like 30 CS.
This does happen a lot. It's because he goes for plays like that, right? Like, going that aggressive, trying to take down Peanut, and then it not working out.
Yeah. You ask why our...
That is adorable.
Yeah, we're riding the robot back
God.
in. Bumping into the cats. Yeah, you ask why our LCK players can be very passive and our teams can sit back and wait for the right timing. It's because when they don't do it and they try to go for the big angles, they get punished because our teams are so good. The angle that Zeus was taken to cut Showmaker off, like they saw it 10, 15 seconds ahead of time and they punished big time.
Third item is what I think DK should be playing for. I wouldn't even hate if they just let this dragon go. It's a second Chemtech trait. It really doesn't mean anything.
And they got the first one.
Shiu doesn't have his second item finished, right? Showmaker is approaching his third. Aiming just took a quarter of his health bar. I think it was just a spear.
Yeah.
And you don't have IE. So I think you just let this one go.
Yeah, just wait.
DK, so they probably won't.
Let's Shiu split push. Shiu backed, and he's looking to group. Maybe he pushes bot.
Decent amount of sustain, so that's something. They are looking for the fight, Valdez. I am not surprised.
Just let it go.
But
it's already gone. HANWHA Life are doing you a favor. Oh, the Jinx Rocket! The Jinx Rocket! We were just talking about it. We were just talking about it. And now the kiting is coming out here. Zeus in an awkward spot. Is he able to hop over And he is going to flash just to try to get out of this one, but Lucid is not. Okay, he is, actually.
Okay, that was good. I was... You were just waiting for the flash forward into immediate turn by Peanut, into death. It was all there. But that is so big, because even if they don't end up getting the soul, just ensuring that HANWHA Life doesn't get it, I assume there was a play with quickness there, but Lucid didn't flash, so not quite sure what happened there. Showmaker, still very large in this game, and as long as he doesn't dive very deep into the enemy jungle, the siege of this composition is quite solid. There's a lot of wards behind them, though.
Yeah. And you know who's the largest? Our Gold King, aiming, almost 300 CS. Just stole the dragon. 8K is what he said. And the timing couldn't be better. You see the light tries to get in front of it, but he's late. Needs to get there ahead of time. And the fans cannot believe it.
Understandably. In this game, still on a knife's edge, Valdez. Actually a close game. After what was, I think, two relatively kind of blowout-y games. Game 1 was, or Game 2 rather, was close for a longer amount, but still once HANWHA Life started winning, we did kind of know. The flanking Yorick is the deadliest. There is a Gigacon. There's also, it's Xante, so actually locking him down is quite hard. It's Lucid. Just gonna, did get it. No mark, because the mark's on blue. But he's at 5, so, you know, getting more marks is nice, but getting to 4 basically is mandatory. If you don't get to 4, you're really in a tough spot. If you do get to 4, everything beyond that is great. Does make your game a lot easier to play out.
Yeah, would like to get to 7. We'll see if he can manage that in this game. I think he's still got his target set as Peanut, which I don't know if that's the best target.
Might be Zeus or maybe the light. We'll see.
I feel like if you're winning fights, you're killing one of the frontliners first. Otherwise, HANWHA Life are very out of position, right? So probably
in what scenario are you ever killing the Viper first? Even Peanut, right? With his range, should be very tough to reliably get on top of. But we did see earlier, HANWHA Life still have a ton of aggressive power if they can get on top of someone like Lucid, who jumps in.
Not scared of anything, apparently.
Redemption.
There's a lot of healing on the side of HANWHA Life. They got AP Nidalee, Rakan, and Redemption.
Yeah. So traded there. Are we playing for like the Krug mark? Is that what's happening? These spears are... They don't really have anyone that can take them that well, right? Because even Beryl, who's like the tankiest, can't really just keep eating those.
Yeah. Even Beryl takes a bunch.
Yeah. Aww. She was like, I'll get you mark on another camp, buddy. That's nice.
That's teamwork.
Yeah, because let's be real, if Lucid shows on bot Krug for a mark, then HANWHA Life will take Baron very quickly. With Nidalee and
Worth.
Well, he's done for aiming though. That is an absolutely colossal spike. Maybe when Showmaker also finishes his third, that could be the start sign for DK, because they have still been playing it pretty slow. The fact that the poke of just Peanut though, and obviously a little bit from Zeka, but I feel like it's mostly just been the spears, is enough to make a lot of these poke wars go in favor of HANWHA. He's kind of crazy. With Victor and Jinx, you're really expecting there to be a little bit more parity in that regard. And this game, we're reaching a breaking point, Valdez. If either team takes a bad team fight now, it's not just a Dragon, it's a Baron.
Yeah, the game will open up very quickly if we do have a one-sided team fight. You see that DK, they would love to fight over this Chemtech Soul, but I do wonder if they will try to collapse on it.
Showmaker finished his Zhonya's.
I mean, a bit of poke coming out already.
And Lucid did put it on Xante, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And there is the Corki. Corki Nidalee. There's a reason we've seen this combo so much. This time, though, there is a big thing, which is shown by that little icon in the bot lane there. That's the Maiden. Yorick, they're a big side lane threat. And outside of Rakan, the engage from HANWHA Life isn't that crazy. It's mostly just a poke. So I think they should play for this and just have Shiu push inside. They're not going to do that. He's going to... We're fighting, Valdez!
Flanking Yorick! Oh no!
My LCK!
Yeah.
It happens more often than you think.
It's every day. And might just be flipping this objective. HANWHA Life are being pushed off of this by the Yorick, in fact. Guliwall going to put Zeus in a really awkward spot. And this is just going to go over to Peanut as the smite comes out early from Lucid. And now Viper was flanking? I don't know. He's very out of this fight. He's not doing damage, and they just press forward. DK, they want to take out Zeka, but the knock into the wall. This Cassante is doing quite a lot, but the rest of the team is just being burned. And that should be Zeus eventually going down here to Aiming, who did get excited. And now we have the TP to the bottom side as Shiu picks up the triple kill, and now he can split push.
I don't know how that happened. That fight was a bit of a mess. I am unsure. Why was Viper flanking? How did Lucid? Because I'm pretty sure he missed the spike by like a lot. I think it was like 200 when Peanut got it.
200.
A lot of mistakes in that fight. Not quite sure what happened. We're gonna see it in the replay. But when all is said is done, DK didn't need this dragon. They did get the bot lane in it. They should be able to get a lot of tempo out of this play. So she was threatening the backline, and then Viper takes the Giga Cone, just trying to 1v2 Showmaker and Aiming, but like because of Lucid and Shiu, it's not like him taking those members out of the fight. There's no damage. And then right here, things look very dicey as the bouncy house comes in for a little bit.
The Ghoulie wall was actually insane.
Yeah, Shiu is actually...
And the stun,
even
the Victor.
We joked about the initial flank, but he actually generated a ton of pressure.
Yeah.
He was able... I think that was one of the reasons why we saw Viper just go to the other. Because if the Yorick ever gets on top of you, you are just screwed.
Yeah.
Like, even if you will, you're not really getting away from him. And now DK playing with a lot of confidence.
Yeah. I mean, Yorick is not the best team fighter, but if you get the perfect Giga flank, anyone is the best team fighter.
Also,
like, you know?
also with the ghouls and Surrealis, you are so annoying.
Yeah.
And they might now go for a bait on this Baron. I would advise them not to, because I don't think you can just sit there and take the poke. But they do have Barrel with Flash, so the engage potential is there. This is still HANWHA Life, very much in this game. The expected favorite, 80-20 in the predictions. DK actually taking them down. Yeah. Much easier said than done.
I don't think any of us predicted DK to do it.
Literally, no, and you shouldn't. They just lost the bro. I know we predicted them before they lost the bro, but they lost the bro!
Yeah.
2-0, Valdez!
So they're doing the Baron here, but Vision is going to come down with the redemption.
Yeah, they're going to peel off.
Now they engage. Very nice engage here from Barrel, and they just keep them at arm's length. Zeus, he's just being kited.
Oh, that's still a lot of cooldowns used there. Or I say a lot, it's really only the Chaos Storm from Showmaker, but a lot of health.
Aiming doesn't have his sums right now. That's the one thing that could be iffy.
They don't have to do this, right? Like, they're not in a Hail Mary position where they need to go for this flip. So it looks like they're not going to. Will be very HANWHA to try and turn this around. Their Baron damage is insane. Again, W8D carry as well as Peanut with a Leandris, but not going to go for it. And this, it's skewed towards DK, but do not be mistaken. If, for example, Aiming goes out early in the fight, that can just be the end of it. I do think this Jinx... What a game. Free Valdez!
I mean, it feels like we're just waiting for this thing to explode. That last team fight was like a mini explosion. And we're waiting for the big one.
Wasn't enough, and just a bot lane inhib. If you're not able to turn that into any meaningful Baron threat, then it doesn't really matter that much.
I mean, you can see the HANWHA Life are trying to set up Vision here around this Baron, and they've rushed Barons before. They tried to do it against Gen G, and they're going to try to do it here. And as you mentioned, they have just a ton of damage here. Barrel is going to get some Vision. It's already at half health.
Are we flipping it against Jinx and Kindred? I don't know about that.
Looks like it. Right over the wall. It's so easy for Lucid. It's just free. And he's got his ult to stay alive. Zeus is being kited out here. Does not go down just yet, and Kindred does hit the floor. Barrel also going to die. Aiming, excited. It's a 3v4, but nobody can deal with Aiming. This Delight is just running. Oh, that was very close to getting Aiming. Oh, the goal! Oh, there you go. The goal gets it. And now Aiming, and they're just all running away. And eventually, they will die. The cats are getting in there, and he steps on the choppers. It's free.
Are we on a different timeline? Is it happening? After all this time? Did they diverge far enough?
I'm a believer.
Oh, it's only Viper. His clear is good, but he's playing into Baron. GA is there.
GA. He's got GA. Maybe he can try to go in and clear the wave, but against Baron, I don't think it's going to happen, but he has to try. He just has to go in, and, well, eventually he dies. But that was a foregone conclusion, as he will res and immediately die again. This game is over as the Nexus goes down. DK take down HANWHA Esports in 2-1 fashion.